Hello and welcome to the Get Read podcast, the podcast where you ask a question of the cards and get read. I'm Amanda, I'm your reader. We are right on the verge of the Gemini new moon. I've got my Wild Unknown tarot deck here, and we're going to listen to our first question.
Hi, I actually was going to reach out to you anyways, but this is really convenient. I had a dream last night, and you were in it, and you actually were asking me, we were doing a tarot reading, and there were a lot of cards. I can remember there were a few I can remember. There was a 5 of Pentacles or Wands reversed, and either a Knight of Pentacles or Wands upright. But other than that, I don't know. But I feel very compelled to ask you to dig into this further with the cards. What message is out there for me? Literally, my subconscious and higher self is literally dreaming about it. So I would love to know. Thank you so much.
Okay. Dreaming about a tarot reading. I love when tarot cards show up in my dream. Oh, okay, so you got some sort of 5 card reversed, either Pentacles or Wands, and then you had some sort of Knight upright, either Pentacles or Wands. So it seems like you're trading some sort of chaos for movement, you know? Like being able to simplify things, because to me 5s do represent some chaotic energy, some like a lot of things are going on, and it's it can be confusing, it can be intense, it can be yeah. So I'm wondering if you're just trying to distill some of the chaos of the 5s into something that can actually move you forward with the forward motion of the Knight's energy. Okay, let's pull cards and see what this dream could be saying for you. Let's finish the reading in real life, or in waking life rather. Oh, okay. 2 of Swords. So maybe, is there something you're unsure about? Here we have Eclipse Energy, which is interesting, that I started talking about this spread saying you're swapping the 5s for the Knights, because in this particular Scorpio, Taurus eclipse season that has kicked off this spring, I've been talking about the idea of eclipses being an opportunity to swap something for something else. And now here we're seeing what looks to me like a solar eclipse right on the heels of a new moon. So, okay, here we are. And the 2 swords are crossing it. Sometimes with the 2 of Swords, it can be a space of indecision. It's a Libra moon card. So there's that. And there's something about that card where maybe if things are a little unclear, a little murky in a specific area of your life, you may need to block out some form of light. Because if you take a look at this card in the video cast here, you can see that even though it is a solar eclipse that we're seeing here, we are seeing the dark moon. The whole card is illuminated. And the 2 swords seem to be pointing to something very specific with that new moon. And I'm also looking at how they look like scissors about to slice it. And then the other card that you got here is the World, which in this deck is looks like a planetary body, but also a snake. And it looks like it's out in the middle of the night sky with stars. So we have 2 planetary bodies showing up now. Well, 3, I guess. The sun, the moon, and the world here, the earth. I think this is a true swap. I think there is something that these two swords are cutting when you are able to get clarity around it, when you're able to get some sort of clear illumination, which may actually happen for you here in the new moon. And it may have been something that started during the eclipse cycle, since we're seeing that so strongly here. Perhaps this eclipse cycle is still trying to unfold and illuminate for you what it is that you are swapping out. You know, with the World card, it typically talks about really big culminations, like big moments of almost like graduation, you know, or like a huge cycle coming to an end. Okay, 5 of Cups on the bottom of the deck. So maybe something is coming to an end for you with these 5s. You know, we have another 5 showing up, talking about maybe like emotional loss or things that have happened in the past that have been unpleasant, or that you're still sort of carrying with you, or that you're dwelling on some deeper emotional level. Okay, let's just see. So you're swapping out those 5s for the Knight. So how is the Knight trying to move you forward? Let's ask that. Oh my gosh, and you got the Knight of Swords, or in the Wild Unknown deck, it's the Son of Swords. You also got the 4 of Swords popping out here, which is this beautiful, peaceful lamb with a sun right in the middle of its forehead. So I think there's energy for you at this time to move on. You know, you got Knight of Pentacles or Wands, and now the Knight of Swords, which is this owl that seems to be diving quite quickly in a specific direction. Here's what I'll say. There's something very key to be illuminated for you at this time. And whatever it is trying to bring you mental peace. It's trying to help you find some sort of peace about something and bring it to a full cyclical end or culmination. So, and really it is trying to help you be at peace. Okay, this whole spread is really boiling down to the 4 of Swords. A peaceful, sweet, joyful, innocent lamb with a big old bright, shining sun in between its eyeballs. The illumination that you need, the aha moment, the revelation that you need, that is available to you maybe at this Gemini new moon. As we make our way out of this Mercury retrograde, you may get some sort of ping or newfound understanding that will help bring your mind and emotions to a more peaceful space, and to help you let go of something and maybe say goodbye to something, or maybe just make your peace with it, so that you can harness that Knight energy that you dreamed about and start to move forward. Okay, I love it. Thank you for telling me about your dream. Next question.
Hi, Amanda. I will soon be traveling to New York with my family to spend some time with my husband's family, because my husband's dad has cancer. Sorry, this is a heavy one. I don't have a great relationship with his folks, and he doesn't either. I just would love literally any insight that the cards may have, any insight for what support is available energetically, what I can do, how I can sort of manage my energy. Obviously, I'm going in to this experience just with the intention of, being supportive, but what do I need to know? What can be gleaned from a pull? Okay, sorry, this is maybe overtime. Oh my gosh, bye.
Okay. As I was shuffling, listening to you, a couple of cards came out. We're going to get right into it. We have the Seven of Cups and the Six of Cups. So in the Six of Cups, we're seeing a tree and we're getting this X-ray glimpse into its very deep root system. And the Six of Cups can talk about going back to connections and relationships from the past. So it totally feels like this visiting of to your husband's family. Your husband is going back to where he came from. And quite literally back to a root system. And so there's something, it's interesting that there's, in the Six of Cups card, there's a transparency there. There's something to be just like seen through. You can see through it is part of what I'm getting. And then the Seven of Cups, this particular Seven of Cups card in the Wild Unknown always feels more like the Eight of Cups to me, in terms of like walking away from something emotionally. But here we are seeing the sun and the moon again, this time separate. So showing more of like a full moon type opposition. Although that does look like a new moon up there at the top. Anyway, the sun and the moon showing me like polar in some sort of opposition is indicating maybe some of the emotional confusion that can come in when you've got such opposing energies in the same space. And especially when it's rooted in something really, really deep and like childhood emotional stuff. Okay, so there's a lot of emotional confusion coming up around the opposing energies all being in the same room. And it's illuminating a lot of root stuff. Like you're really seeing things transparently about where your husband has come from. Maybe he's seeing a lot of things. And I'm sure since it's already transparent right out of the gate, it's like these aren't things you were previously unaware of. Like, I think you've known about this stuff, which is probably why you're anticipating some difficulty with this visit. So let's see. I'm just wondering, like, more specifically for you, since you have called in, what is the advice for you walking into this complicated situation? All right. You're getting the Hanged One and the Ten of Pentacles. The Hanged One in this deck is a bat hanging upside down with its eyes glowing red, seeing in the dark, and its wings are tightly wrapped around it. So here's what I'm gonna say. It's another feeling of transparency coming through here for me, where like the bat can see in the dark. As soon as the sun goes down, a lot of other creatures can't see, but the bat's sonar wakes up and everything it was made to do, all of its unique abilities and senses come alive. But this particular bat is tightly wrapped up. So here's what I'll say. It's very specific, my friend. Feels to me like, yes, you can see a whole lot of stuff in this extended part of your family that you have to interact with. There's a lot to see and there's a lot to be seen, but the bat is keeping it tight. Like, just hang out. Literally just hang. Just hang. Yes, you're probably gonna see a lot of stuff. You can see these folks very clearly, and maybe in like ways that don't make you feel super good, but it feels to me like at this time, because of the emotionally charged nature of your visit and what they are going through, it's like, keep it tight, you know, keep it wrapped up. Maybe choose your words very carefully. Say as little as you can. Like, this Hanged One energy really feels like an observer. Someone that's just observing from the corner, you know, lurking a little bit like a bat, but don't be a creep, okay? Or be a creep, I don't know. Ten of Pentacles indicates to me, I mean, it's just speaking again, really literally of family and lineage and ancestry and things we inherit. I think we should have one more with this. The Hermit, exactly. Listen, pal, it really feels like this isn't your root system, you know, like this isn't your ball game. There's potentially a lot of emotional confusion and a lot of things swirling around, a lot of opposing energies. Maybe that's going to create some intensity, and this is you. This is you in the corner. That's you in the spotlight, losing your religion. Okay, but you know what I mean? Hermit, Hanged One. Just stay in the background as much as possible. Hold on to yourself, you know, like keep your energy very self-contained. In this particular Hermit card in this deck, it's a turtle with a little lantern on top of its shell, mostly inside of its shell, you know? You just keep your own light, keep your own space, maintain your boundaries, and take the position of the observer. Like, truly chill and hang there, because yeah, it's not really your rodeo. That's what I'm getting. Obviously it affects you, and obviously you are part of it, but there's a lot of other bigger, deeper stuff going on here. Yeah, and Two of Cups on the bottom of the deck. The best way for you and your partner, perhaps to your husband, to maintain your connection and your sense of like safety and security and reciprocal love flowing between the two of you, is for you to sort of contain your, keep your self-container solid. And I do love that there's roots here, and the Ten of Pentacles is such a grounded energy. The 10 being the end of a cycle, it does indicate that this is some sort of culmination for this family. And as grounded and, again, self-contained and self-maintained as you can be during this visit, it will really be, oh, interesting, Strength ended up on the bottom of the deck. I guess I shuffled unconsciously. Exactly. Maintain this space of strength for you and for your husband. Okay? Try not to get sucked into anything. Just keep it tight. Okay? Nice. I like that for you. Okay. Next question.
Hi Amanda, it's Caitlin. You have done a couple of readings for me about my fertility journey, and I'm still on it, so just kind of curious as to what might be in the cards for me these next couple months. You know, I feel like I've let go of a lot of things and just kind of rolling with what time brings me. You know, holding on to some anxiety, but ultimately, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm not optimistic, I'm not pessimistic, I'm just kind of am where I am and curious to see what the cards say. So I would love to be included. Thanks so much.
Okay, hey. All right. So already in the pre-shuffle, we're getting this it is the Six of Swords. Yeah. Those are swords there at the bottom. So what we're seeing is like a pile of swords in like a darker space, and the gradient of the card moves up towards this rainbow, which is illuminated at the top of the card in this beautiful light. So I guess, you know, the Six of Swords typically talks about moving on and the process of moving on and moving forward more like mentally and emotionally, making some sort of mental shift or mental and emotional shift, and having to move on sometimes when you don't want to. There can be like a bittersweet thing happening here. It's like the rainbow is here, you know, there is hope and joy and a sense of promise. And then there is also sort of this pile of swords at the bottom of the card. So it's really showing me actually sort of what you just said of being in both states, of holding on to a little bit of anxiety, but also feeling kind of released about it and willing to just see what happens. It's like both of those states of like hope, but also mental stress are present. Okay, so let's see. We're talking about this fertility journey, and I want to give a couple good shuffles here and see what we can see. Okay. Yeah, it's totally a lot of mystery. It's a lot. We got the High Priestess and the Moon. So the High Priestess is this tiger holding a crystal ball with that crescent moon present. And then the same moon is showing up in the moon card between two trees. And you also got the Hermit, that same turtle in its shell with a lantern. So the cards really aren't showing us anything definitive, although I will say that the moon is a womb space, you know, it is a card of what it's like to nurture and mother something into being. It is that internal emotional gestational space, and we are approaching a gestational space with the new moon. The Hermit is an incredibly internal space. The High Priestess is an incredibly internal space. So this whole reading so far is really just directing you inward, and it's directing you further into the mystery. The moon comes out at night when we can't see everything around us. Only a small bit is illuminated when we are here between these trees in the woods at night. And the High Priestess sees into the unseen, or rather senses into the unseen. I think what this is saying is there's a lot unknown, there's a ton of mystery. You're not going to see what you want to see necessarily. And then there's this energy of moving on with the Six of Swords, holding hope and also moving on. Death at the bottom of the deck, which we're seeing the skeleton of a bird that is decomposing. Oh, interesting. And then the sun underneath that. Is that the sun? Yeah. So again, it's like let me show you this, because this is exactly what I mean. You're holding both experiences. You're holding this experience of ending and death and decay and loss at the same time that you are holding this experience of joy and hope and warming yourself in the sun and, gratitude for what you have and all of those things. It's just really speaking about the complexity of this particular transition space for you. And again, yeah, 9 of Swords on the bottom of the deck. Worry, fear, anxiety, mental stress. So the whole reading is just directing you to your mental, emotional experience in this transitional moment. Transitioning between death and the sun is this moving on from loss and opening up into the possibility of daytime. You have the moon and the sun. You're in a transition space from night to day. And that is a complicated transition, and there's a lot unknown, and it maybe feels like the sun is never going to rise, but it eventually and always does in some way or another. And it's important for you to just be where you are internally and let yourself be. Let yourself feel what you're feeling. Let yourself mourn if mourning is here. Let yourself feel upset and disappointed and unsure, and feel hopeful and open to whatever may come. Like, go ahead and hold yourself in that complexity. And the Hermit is, again, really speaking to me of just like, this is a journey for you. And like, what aspect of this is your own journey with yourself? You know, how can you carry yourself through the night while you wait for morning? Morning for the sun to rise. Okay. Ooh, that Hermit is coming out. The moon, the sun. A lot of eclipse energy here too. Okay. Next question.
Hi Amanda, it is my heartfelt desire to become a biological parent, and my wife and I have been trying to conceive for about 1.5 years now. We have run into some roadblocks, but are still holding out a tremendous amount of hope for this possibility. Again, really the goal is for me to be a gestational parent with a biological embryo. And I just wonder what the cards have to say about this possibility, or anything that needs to happen in order for my body to be ready for this experience. All right, thank you for any insights.
Okay. Lots of gestational questions here at this new moon. I like it. So far, we've got the 7 of Pentacles, which is a card of like the process of planting seeds, watering them, tending to them, and waiting for them to bloom, waiting for the harvest. It really, to me, talks about being in that process. And it is a little bit of like a card of working, you know, like working and waiting, working and waiting. Working on something, tending to something, making sure, you know, preparing the soil and making sure there's adequate water and hydration and sunlight and fertilizer, and doing all of those things to help prep the space, aka your body, and tend to this thing while it prepares to grow and while it prepares to reveal itself into something that can be seen above ground. Okay. So you're having some patience and you're doing what you need to do to tend to yourself in the process. Let's see what else is here. Gestation with the Gemini new moon. Okay, the Magician. Whoa, Justice peeped out earlier as well. A lot of cards. The Empress, the Chariot I saw earlier, the Son of Pentacles, the 9 of Cups. Okay, this great. So slow and steady wins the race, 100%. Let's show you some things here. the Son of Pentacles in this deck is the Knight of Pentacles. It's like every single day you water that garden, right? Every single day you tend to those seeds. You tend to yourself. You take it slow and steady. You plan for the long haul. You keep a sustainable pace, something that you can, that will carry you through a long term. And then we've got all these major arcanas. Like, check it out. The Magician, Justice, the Chariot, Empress. And then the Nine of Cups, showing another beautiful moon here. So it's almost like the cards are saying this thing that you want, this thing that you desire, that your heart is longing for. I also really like that there's this sort of U shape that the cups are making in the Nine of Cups. It is so much about the container that can hold this, and you're prepping the space. And since you asked about your body in particular, it does feel like there's a lot of very practical things you can do. Like, I'm really feeling truly hydrate yourself. You know, it seems simple, but like drinking water and getting enough rest, moving slowly through the day, and, you know, like slowing your pace to something more sustainable may mean like slowing your life down a little bit so that you can keep a pace that can hold another life in your day-to-day. So there are these things I think that you can do to prepare the space that you are maybe emotionally prepared for. So there's some, like, there is a focus on those practical steps that you can take. And then there's all these majors coming out. The Magician, Justice, talking about, homeostasis a little bit, like talking about balance, but it seems to be in a more extreme way. It's like I'm getting, you know, we have a black cat and a white cat. It's like something about two ends of the spectrum coming in and finding clarity to get, oh, it's Gemini, right. Gemini new moon, that's where we are in Gemini season. Fine, great. That's it. So being able to hold two seemingly opposite ideas at the same time and have them sort of exist in this space of enlightenment, or like two opposite opinions informing a larger truth. I don't know how that's relevant for you, but I hope that that is specific for you, because that's what's coming through. But it could just mean Gemini season. Let's put it like this. With the Magician, it's basically saying you have everything you need to do this. You know? Maybe even like in Gemini season, I don't know, like, are you ready? Because the Chariot is ready. This horse is raring to go. And we're seeing another Eclipse Energy up there. And then the Empress is another gestational figure. This, you know, it's looking to me like a burning bush. I have a biblical background. I can't help myself. You know, I was indoctrinated with this imagery, and that's what it feels like to me. It does feel like this burning bush. It's like this, a vision, or like some sort of something happens in the dream space. Maybe that feels a little bit miraculous to you, or feels like the seemingly impossible finds its way into being. Okay, let's distill this down to something tangible. Your desire for this to happen is clear. Believe that the seemingly impossible could happen, because there's a whole lot of energy here for potentials to be realized. Obviously, a tarot card reading isn't going to tell you that you're going to get pregnant. That's not what I'm doing here. But there's a lot of positive potential, and there's a lot of energy of taking the practical step-by-step approach to prepare the space, and not just your body, but like your life. You know, prepare your house, prepare your relationship, prepare your work-life balance, prepare your body. Because there are a lot of really big, strong energies showing up here that talk about forward movement and talk about getting this going. So, perhaps, truly, if you can dream it, you can do it here at this Gemini new moon. Okay. Thanks to everybody who called in, asked a question of the cards, left me a voicemail. If you'd like to get read, you can go to unseenhandstarot.com/get-read. Leave me a voicemail and I'll pull some cards for you. Thanks for listening, everybody. Happy new moon.